What's up everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'll review the Fitness Reality lat pull-down attachments for the 810 XLT Supermax Power Cage. I've been using this regularly for over 6 months, and I'll tell you right now that it's a game changer, and definitely one of the best pieces of equipment in the home gym. But it does have its pros and cons, and I will cover all of the details that I've experienced with daily use. I previously made a video for unboxing and installing it. I will link that down in the video description in case it's helpful. First, I will do a very quick overview of the kit after it's installed, then get into the details. The kit includes everything behind the cage. This top bar attaches to the pull-up bar, and this support attaches to the existing top cross member. All of this. And it includes a new replacement lower support bar. This is not the original bar. Weight plates are added on these two posts, and there are 2 attachment points to pull the weight. A low point here for pulling away, and a high point here for pulling down. It includes 2 attachments, a short straight bar, which they call a curl bar, and a typical lat pull-down bar, and there's a nice holder to store it in. The last part of the kit is this hold-down pad. It is made from the original lower support bar, plus these 2 brackets on the ends, one on each end, and the 2 pads. It is installed by sliding the safety bar through the hole on the end of the hold-down bar. This is done on each side. And that's the overview. Now let's get into the details. It extends past the back of the squat rack, 17.5 inches. So that's how much additional room you'll need to install it. The kit makes the rack completely sturdy. When I was using bands and a universal pulley kit in the past, I had to keep a barbell racked with weight on it. Otherwise, the cage could tip forward. It is not tipping anywhere with this kit. It is solid. Moving to the details, let's start at the plate holder. First is the post for the weight plates. It comes with posts for standard plates with a 1-inch hole. It also has clamps to hold the plates on. So, if you have standard plates, you are ready to go. I personally only have Olympic plates with a 2-inch hole, which is not an appropriate fit. So, I purchased some adapter sleeves. The inside fits on the 1-inch post, and the outside is for 2-inch plates. The post is 6.5 inches long, so I got sleeves that are 8 inches long. These have worked out great. Also, make sure the sleeves have a stop collar at the end. Otherwise, without it, the plates can slide all the way over and rub on the vertical slide post. That is not good. The stock 1-inch plates have stop collars to stop the standard plates, so use sleeves with stop collars to stop the Olympic plates. These specific sleeves worked out really nice because there's a counter bore inside to clear the fillet welds around the posts. I'll post a link in the description to the sleeves that I purchased, but there are plenty of other options. Also, I have not had to use any clamps. The plates stay on with no movement. They are not necessary. The sliding mechanism is a plastic sleeve on a chrome-plated steel post. They are square, so they will not rotate. It is not a linear bearing, but it's not bad. I don't have any complaints with it. When loading plates, keep things symmetric, and load the same plates on each side. This keeps the load centered on the post for the least amount of sliding resistance. Checking with the scale, about 25 pounds of force is required to lift 20 pounds of plates. And there's also the plate holder and the adapter sleeves that the plates are loaded on, so that's pretty good. If I overload one side and put both plates on the same side, it puts a rotational force on the post and creates more drag resistance, and it is very significant. Checking with the scale, it takes about 37 pounds of force to lift 20 pounds of plates when they are loaded on one side. The kit did come with oil for the post, but I haven't used it. I don't want dust and dirt particles sticking all over the post. In operation, when it's at the bottom of its travel range, there's a nice rubber stop. But there is not a sophisticated stop at the top of the travel range. It just crashes into this bolt. I've only crashed it 4 or 5 times when setting up a new workout, so it's really not a problem. Now let's check out the attachments. then start using it. These attachments are the cheapest design possible. If I was purchasing attachments specifically, I would not even consider these. Let's start with the curl bar. It's a straight bar with foam sleeves on the ends, and an attachment in the center that rotates. However, the rotating attachment is just held in the center by these foam sleeves, and the ends of the steel tube have plastic plugs. It's not terrible by any means. It functions and you can use it, but compared to other attachments, it's cheap. For comparison, this one is solid steel, not a hollow tube. The attachment tab is twice as thick, and it is held centered with nice hubs that are part of the shaft. And the lat pull-down bar quality is similar. It's a steel tube with an attachment in the center. The attachment does not rotate, it's welded in place, and is very thin metal. There are foam sleeves and plastic plugs on the ends. Compared to other lat pull-down bars, it's cheap. But with that said, I use the lat pull-down bar quite a bit, and it works just fine. I have not used the curl bar at all because the grip is not comfortable for my joints. I have a variety of other attachments that I use instead. They're much more comfortable for me. Now let's put this kit to work. I will start with the bottom attachment point. A few examples are the seated cable row, cable bicep curls, the cable pull thrust, and cable side delt raises. There are of course other options. Those are just a few, and I added a length of chain to perform some of these. A long length of extension chain is definitely recommended to avoid this. This piece is 20 inches long, and it has worked out great for my needs. There are also many exercises available with one of these ankle strap attachments. I do not own this specific product. This is just the sponsored advertisement that showed up when I searched for cable ankle strap on Amazon for an example. Now I will point out a few details when setting up for rows. With the row, you don't want to be sitting directly on the floor like this. You should be sitting with your butt elevated above your feet, more like this. However, you also want to pull the weight in a horizontal path like this, not in an upward path like this. If you sit on the floor, you get the horizontal pull path, but with poor leg position. If you sit on a bench for proper leg position, you are pulling up at a significant angle. I personally sit on these kneeling pads for a little bit of elevation, and it's acceptable enough for me, in my opinion. I also experimented with using these wheel chalks as foot wedges. So, I don't have a perfect solution. I recommend experimenting a little and trying to find something that is comfortable for you. And my last tip with the bottom attachment point is to disconnect the attachment when you're done with it. Don't just move it out of the way while it's still connected. I did this several times with no issue, but one time the cable got wedged between the pulley and the frame, and it damaged the plastic coating on the cable. Now let's go to some examples with the top attachment point. To start, 4 examples are the lat pull down, tricep push downs, overhead tricep extensions, and face pulls. There are, of course, several other exercises available, but I want to point out a few things. First, let's circle back to the lat pull down. I will point out that the leg hold down bar does not work very well for me. Sliding the safety bar through it on one side is no problem, but the other side does not line up well. I have to fight it to force it through. The spacing between the cage uprights has to be perfect for these holes to line up, which is not practical in my opinion. As a mechanical engineer who designs complex machines for a living, I think one side should be a hole, and the other side should be a horizontal slot. This will allow for misalignment. But you may not even need the hold down bar. You may be able to sit on the bench without it, or sit on your knees. And the last thing to point out on the top attachment is when pulling away, like on face pulls, the cable rubs on this bar. The bar is round and smooth, which is the best case scenario, but it isn't right. It will definitely wear into the surface of the cable and wear into the steel bar. Taking a close look, I've worn through the paint. At worst, this should be a different material like UHMW, but it really should be a roller. I will modify it and change it to a roller in a future video. But in the meantime, since day one, I've tried to stay low so the cable doesn't rub on the steel bar. I've also tried doing face pulls on the ground to avoid the cable rubbing on the bar. It's actually not too bad. And here is a final tip. For overhead tricep extensions, I rack the barbell and stick a pad on it so I have something rigid and comfortable to brace against. It works very well. And of course, I currently don't do them out here because the cable rubs on the steel bar. So, those are the details with 6 months of use. It may seem like there were several negatives, but I was just trying to be thorough, and they are essentially meaningless. I want to make it clear that this kit is awesome, and I highly recommend it. I thought I had everything I needed before this kit, but this kit is an absolute game changer. It unlocks so many more options and is easy to use. Just throw on the plates and pull. I use it for every single workout, and it is definitely one of the best pieces of equipment in my home gym. If you are expanding your home gym, I recommend prioritizing this. So that wraps this up. I hope it was helpful. If interested, I also have review videos for pretty much every piece of equipment in this gym. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.